2, 3, 4.
Albo and Ofringa rule in slalom. Kite racing exclusive with IKA President Mirco Babini. Then full throttle X-Cat final. Maxi record at the equator. Kama at the horn. Bermuda preview. And now from the NC Sports newsroom, here is Mia Ceran. NC Sports, plunge into the action.
Welcome back to the latest NC Sports edition. I'm Mia Ceran, and it has been another packed week on the water sports scene with several major events around the globe. Here's the lineup. Albo and Ofringa are crowned slalom world champs in Noumea. Showdown in Abu Dhabi for the X-Cat world title. France dominates the Rio Canoes slalom test. Cape Horn revisited with Franck Kama, a record-breaking Jules Verne trophy. Plus, IKA President Mirco Babini joins the newsroom for a 360-degree chat on the state of kitesurfing, including the brawl with Branson, the Olympic quest, and kitefoiling. Plus, as ex-team member, he's also got the full story behind the Luna Rossa pullout from the 35th America's Cup. A whole generation apart, and both such huge talents. Antoine Albo and Sarah Ofringa just capped their respective PWA slalom seasons with a world title victory at the Noumea Cup in New Caledonia. Here's the recap on today's top story.
New Caledonia delivered the top win conditions for the PWA Noumea Cup, last event of the 2015 slalom season. On the men's side, a three-way race, which had thus far been led by Italy's Matteo Iachino, instead witnessed the relentless comeback of Team France, with Pierre Mortfond and the legendary veteran Antoine Albo, now taking his fourth consecutive world title.
And at the end, all the scenario happened that it was totally different. That Pierre was super consistent here, super strong. He was winning almost all the slalom because I won a lot. But he was there for the first place. And Matteo was not so good. He didn't start like me, super good. And at the end, I managed to come back to the top. So I'm pretty happy about this.
Plenty of action on the ladies' racetrack in Noumea with Aruban prodigy Sarah Ofringa nailing a decisive second place and the world title here, behind France's Delphine Cousin and just ahead of Lena Erdl from Turkey, another strong contender.
How often am I allowed to shout on camera?
Okay, good to go?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Sarah. How do you feel?
Super excited! I have so much energy bottled up right now, and I can't it's hard to contain it all. But I'm really, really happy. Was my goal at the start of this year to finish first in slalom, and it worked out. So can't be any better.
And as promised, we're back in the newsroom with Mirco Babini, president of the International Kite Racing Association. Hello, Mirco. Thank you for being here with us today.
Hello, thank you for inviting me.
Well, he's well over 40, still setting speed records, and now winning the fourth consecutive slalom world title in New Caledonia. So we're talking about France's living legend, Antoine Albo. You know the man, don't you?
Yeah, I know him. We have been racing almost 20 years ago together. He was pretty young at the time, but a lot of power already on racing, and this is why now he's collecting a world championship. Now this is the fourth.
You raced against each other.
Yeah, and the 95 and the 97 in European and World Fanboard Championship.
So, Mirco, as has been the case for windsurfing, many new superstars from the pro kite world have been pushing the sports to new levels of popularity. But how popular is kite surfing today?
I would say that kiteboarding still not stopped. the popularity is still growing, and every year we can count more and more people that are doing kiteboarding. Just for because it's simple. You can learn in a couple of days, and then you can travel all around the world with 20 kilo of bags, and you can do kiteboarding whatever you want, almost. And I would say that now around the world we have almost 750,000, close to 800 kiters.
Mirco, NC Sports has closely followed the whole saga that involved you at the IKA and Richard Branson's newly acquired Virgin Kite World Championship. So first there was divorce, then came the ISAF mediation. Now it looks like everybody's friends again. Am I wrong? What's the update there?
I would say it's not over. The only problem is that kiteboarding got a lot of chance to have Richard Branson or people like him involved on the kiteboarding community, because it will help a lot to let the sport growing. The problem has been the organization that it was behind him, that it doesn't really match on what IKA need to do following the rule and regulation by ISAF. So this is why we had this trouble on 2015, and then we had a couple of problems about events on delivering the World Championship 2015. We will see. It's not over yet. Maybe Branson, I don't know if he's gonna keep on board and following kiteboarding. We know that he's doing kiteboarding by himself because he loves the sport, but we will see if he will stay and support kiteboarding for the future.
Okay, now the big quest remains the Olympic ticket. So you just came back from Sanya in China, and the big ISAF powwow with an important step, which is kite surfing, has officially been included in the 2018 Youth Olympics in Buenos Aires. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is correct. This is a great step forward for the young generation. I mean, I really push a lot on that direction to have something for the youth, and to also help more youth, so change also the mind of the future for the sport, because we cannot have a sport like kiteboarding grow up and have always 40 or 50 years old doing that. We need really to create something for the youth, and I'm really happy to have the kiteboarding on the next Youth Olympic Games. It will help a lot.
Well, but getting kite surfing to the Olympics wasn't very easy. It was probably even frustrating at times, because it seemed a done deal for Rio in 2016 at the expense of windsurfing. Then there was the famous reversal at ISAF led by Carlo Croce at the eve of the game. Why can't both classes go to the games? And couldn't the Finns be retired instead? Or is ISAF just too traditional, so to speak?
No, I would say at that time it was a big mistake, because I'm a windsurfer. So windsurf still in my heart, and I'm a kiteboarder. I represent the International Kiteboarding Association, and I was really happy to become Olympic, but it was at the time not on the right way.
What do you mean? Not on the right
No,
way?
because it was voted against windsurfing. The opposition is not right at all. The two sports, they can fit perfectly on the Olympic Games. So I was not really upset about the pull-out from the kiteboarding from the Olympics at the time. And I would say thanks to Carlo Croce, that has been elected just the day right after, not the same day, but just right after the decision at the time in ISAF, has been elected as a president. And thanks to him, we start to follow the real route to become Olympics on the proper way. And thanks to all the steps that we have been doing on the last couple of years, at least now we have kiteboarding on the Youth Olympic, and we continue pushing to have kiteboarding for Tokyo 2020.
Now, Mirco, another sport that is reaching new peaks and it's still looking for an Olympic spot is surfing. So, as you know, the WSL is closing the season in Hawaii with the Triple Crown and the final for both men and women. But did you know that there are actually betting odds on surfing? Let's take a look right here. WSL World Champion. Here they are, Mick Fanning, yes.
And Gabriel Medina there, and Felipe Toledo. And Adriano
Definitely
de
Mick
Souza.
Fanning is the favorite.
Yeah, and the other two, almost the same.
Is that good for a sport?
I think
The
so.
fact that people are betting
I think
on
so.
it.
I think so, because it means that if they are doing that, this kind of company that they are working with a lot of sport and getting bid, to have it on this system, it means a lot of people go there and they make bid from computer, telephone, smartphone.
Do you have any predictions for the outcome at Pipeline?
I would say make again, he will do it again.
You will. We'll invite you again to see if you were right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, like every week, Mirco, there's plenty of action in the world's ocean. So here is a quick recap with NC Sports Briefs.
Boasting top speeds of up to 93 knots, powerboating masters Azafine and Bin Hendy secured their fourth XCat World Series title over the weekend at the Abu Dhabi GP on a mere 5-point lead in this 2015 championship. After retiring from the last Dubai GP, the Emirati veterans could afford nothing less than victory, completing the 14 grueling laps with a 39-second advantage on the finish line. It was once again quite clear who's boss. Wedging in for a second-place finish on this XCat final, Carpitella and Nicholson on Team 6 got to hold on to their third place overall in the championship. But it wouldn't be enough to oust Altair and Al Mansouri, that thanks to a third spot, secured a sensational 1-2 in the season for the Emirates on Team Abu Dhabi 5.
The top paddlers in the world met in Rio for a competitive test of the Rio 2016 Olympic Canoe Slalom course. In the C1 category, Britain's multiple world champion David Florence bested Japan's Takuya Haneda by 1.2 points for the gold. Canada's Cameron Smedley rounded out the podium. France dominated in the men's K1s with Matthew Biazizzo in first and Sebastian Combeau in third. Germany's Sebastian Schubert took the silver. Austrian Violetta Oblinger-Peters took home the gold on the women's side, nearly 2 points ahead of Katerina Kudejova from the Czech Republic. Spain's Mayalen Choudot was a close third. In the men's canoe doubles, the Slovenian team of Taljat and Bosic crushed the competition by nearly 4 points for the victory. Britain's Florence and Hounslow took second, and Kunetsov and Ladionov from Russia took third.
In his highly successful career, Franck Amin has crossed the Horn multiple times and on all sorts of multi- and monohulls of the latest generation. This time, however, the offshore legend and new French promise to the America's Cup took on a completely different challenge. On his compass was an infamous route, southbound from Ushuaia and Port Williams all the way to Cape Horn. Following months of casting to select a lucky winner among hundreds of video submissions on YouTube, Kama this time rounded the island on perhaps the tiniest of vessels. And to add some spice, with a novice crew member. The first Jalbo sail session was in fact completed on the new Nacra F20 Carbon FCS, just 6 meters in length, together with amateur sailor Johannes Wiebel from Germany.
When we come back, Kitefoiling Explained with IKA President Mirco Babini, climate change effects on offshore routes, the latest from Bermuda, and the inside story on the Luna Rossa pullout. We're back in the newsroom with IKA President Mirco Babini. Thank you, Mirco, for staying on with us.
My pleasure.
So now let's take a look at one of the topics of the week. It's climate change. It's hitting the news again. We've seen the Paris conference. Now, here's kite enthusiast, we've mentioned him before, Richard Branson. Here he is with Bill Gates. And lots of big global players as well. We can see on the tweet wall here. Now, this subject has always been at the forefront in the nautical world. I know you're no weatherman and no weather expert, but from what has been your experience and from what you've heard, what is El Niño going to look like? What's the chatter on that?
Honestly, it's always a big challenging to understand what really the El Niño will affect the trade wind or the weather around the globe. And this is, I think, is really a big things to think about, and we need just to look in and to go into detail maybe later on during the year, because it's almost impossible to understand really what's going to happen.
Conditions on the offshore sailing circuits have been great this year, Mirco, especially on the North Atlantic trade wind route, as we've said before. The Jacques Vabre and Mini Transat leaders were faster than ever, and now Spindrift 2 and IDEX Sport are breaking records at the Trophée Jules Verne. So let's listen in.
Well, we're very happy. We've just lowered the reference time to the equator to 4 days and 21 hours. We woke up the 5 novices that had never crossed the equator. It was cool. We're pushing hard and all is going well. We're very happy. Voilà.
Incredible machines, don't you agree, Mirco?
Yes, they are.
Though much smaller and different in a way, you brought us a foiling revolution to the studio, is that correct?
Yeah, is it correct?
Can you
want me
show
to
it to us?
Yes. Here we have an example of one of the latest foil board, and you may see there is a big fin attached to a tiny board, which is
Very tiny.
Yeah, it's super small, and the width is really narrow, and because all these kind of shape are particularly for them, do not touch the water when you are foiling, because you keep an angle, not exactly vertical, but there is an angle you can see on the video, and there is a big mast, it's 1 meter deep, with all the foil that is.
Okay.
This is the part that stay always on the water, that help due to the depression that it comes under the fins, the front fin, to lift it up the foil when you start to accelerate, thanks to the foil, the kite foil, that it pull you with the wind. And then with 4 or 5 knots of speed, you start already to foiling. You can reach 15, 16 knots of speed in 7, 8 knots of wind. So double speed of the wind.
What material is this?
It's carbon, all carbon, because it needs to be super stiff and super light. This is why now, thanks to all the improvement and the design and development on the last couple of years, bring the kite foil and the foil board one of the quickest machine in the water.
And this is the discipline that you will be pushing to the Olympics, is that right?
Yeah, that's right, because we are seeing that all the people really love foiling, and also IOC is looking on this kind of discipline, the foiling discipline. This is why they're pushing catamaran and foiling for the next Olympic in Tokyo. And then also we are thinking about how to make all the rules and to develop kite foiling, kite race foiling, to push and to have it, our dream come true, and to be in Tokyo 2020.
Well, good luck then. Thank you for bringing the foiling revolution to the studio. You may now
Thank you.
leave it like this. Is it gonna fall?
No, no.
It's gonna foil.
He's gonna fall. Okay, we can do it.
Okay. Now, the mainstream public got to see foiling at the last America's Cup in San Francisco for the very first time. It's an experience that you, Mirco, lived firsthand as a member of the Luna Rossa team, along with the bitterness of the pullout. Now, we're going to ask you something more about that, but first, let's take a look at these fresh statements coming in from the Nautical Channel team, which is now at work on the exclusive series Road to Bermuda.
We moved here with the family in August, so we've been here for a few months. Yeah, slowly getting used to the Bermudian way of life. It's been fantastic. So the big thing here is the family sort of been happy and settled, and kids are at school and into the sports and everything else. So it's been great.
It's been great. Me and my family, people are so welcome. Because it's maybe America's Cup, they're really supportive and you know, even walking on the street, people see my t-shirts. Oh, hey, Nippon, go, go! Very cheerful and very warm people here.
Well, it looks like the guys are getting used to the island and getting ready for Christmas as well. Now, Mirco, back to you. From what you've seen so far of the World Series and of Bermuda, as well as next member of the Luna Rossa team, do you think that Patrizio Bertelli made a mistake in pulling out from the race?
You know, maybe he's doing the right things, looking from his point of view. Personally, I didn't agree, and we are being put a lot of effort in many years, a couple of years, trying to make everything happen, to build everything and to let things come true around Cagliari, because we build the base, we build everything, all the infrastructure. We have been preparing all the World Series or the event. At the end, you know, I personally am still disappointed about that.
Well, what's going to happen with all that effort now?
We honestly don't know.
Because Italian fans are upset as well, and the media is hypercritical about the race format. Do you think that Pradas Bertelli will ever come back to the America's Cup? Or is Luna Rossa really gone forever?
As far as I know, Luna Rossa is not dead, still there. They just decided to pull out from the challenge. On the next America's Cup, we will see if something's gonna change in terms of format in the future. Maybe he still has a passion, and he still has a couple of persons that they can rebuild the Luna Rossa team maybe for the future, and it's gonna be his choice. It's not mine, and I just still disappointed in the way that Luna Rossa pulled out from that America's Cup.
Thank you again. Thank you, Mirco Babini, President of the IKA, for being with us today. Fair winds, and good luck with everything else.
Thank you.
And now, Triple Crown, Pipeline, Bodyboard Worlds, Olympians in Melbourne, and lots more. Here's what's coming up next week on the NC Sports calendar.
The final event of the Hawaiian Triple Crown and the 2015 WSL season begins on December 8th at Pipeline in Hawaii. Can Aussie Mick Fanning hold on to the yellow jersey for a third world title, or will the Brazilians, who currently hold 4 of the top 6 spots, surge for the crown? Swells look big on the North Shore, and the pros are sure to put on an action-packed season finale. Swells look big in Chile too for the 2015 ISA World Bodyboard Championship. This ISA World Championship event welcomes over 70 athletes from 13 countries to the northern Chilean town of Iquique from December 6th to the 13th. Competitors will face off in one of 5 divisions: open men and women, under 18 boys and girls, and open drop knee. Olympic-class sailing moves south to Melbourne, Australia for the first ISAF Sailing World Cup event of the season in the Southern Hemisphere. The Laser Qualifying Regatta and the 470 Nationals run from December 5th to the 7th, followed by the Olympic-class races from the 7th to the 13th. The Nautique 2015 Boat Show kicks off in Paris this weekend. Get ready for a week of innovation in power, sailing, and tech novelties. Thousands are expected at the Salon de Versailles to check out the latest releases. The world's sailing greats meet in Geneva from the 7th to the 8th of December for the Yacht Racing Forum. This annual conference is dedicated to the sailing and yacht racing industry. Key topics this year are business and marketing, design and technology, and risk management and safety.
That's all the time we have left for this edition, but we'll be back next week with more in-depth sports coverage and exclusive insight from all over the blue planet. I'm Ceran, and remember, plunge into the action with NC Sports.